Hello friends, and today we're going to be reading That Bear Can't Babysit. Mr. and Mrs. Burrow had a lot of children. There was Anna and Adelaide, Betsy and Bill, Casper and Clive, and there was also little Dodie too. Most of the time, everything was just fine. But one Friday, an invitation arrived, and well, things got a bit tricky. "Oh," said Mrs. Burrow, "a party!" Then looked at her children. "Oh dear," she said, "we can't possibly go." "We can," said Mr. Burrow. "We'll get a babysitter." They put up a sign, but nobody called. Nobody knocked. Nobody lined up outside. Well, nobody except... Who do you think's going to try and be their babysitter? That's right, I think the bear's going to try too. Bear. Bear did not have a fancy suit. He did not have shiny shoes, and he was a bit large. "That bear can't babysit," said Mrs. Burrow with a gulp. But they were going to be late for the party, so that bear would have to do. Mr. and Mrs. Burrow flung on their best clothes, crossed their fingers, and waved goodbye. Why did they have to cross their fingers? Yeah, they were hoping that the bear was going to be a good babysitter because they were just a little bit worried. "What should we do?" asked Bear. "Shall I read you a story?" "Actually," said Anna politely, "we can read by ourselves. We like to read scary stories." "Is that allowed?" asked Bear. Adelaide smiled. "Oh, yes, Mom and Dad always let us read The Bunny Beast." "Really?" said Bear. "Yes, always," said Anna and Adelaide, winking at each other. Do you think that their parents actually let them read that book? No, I don't think so either. "Once in a dark forest lived the Bunny Beast," whispered Adelaide. "He hid behind trees and waited for baby rabbits to hop past. Then he sharpened his claws." The bunnies were scared. They pulled their ears over their eyes. Anna and Adelaide began to cry. "We shouldn't have read that book," wailed Anna and Adelaide. "That bunny can't babysit." "Oh dear," said Bear. "Perhaps we should eat something." "We'll cook," said Betsy. "Is that allowed?" asked Bear. "Oh yes," said Bill. "Mom and Dad always let us make supper." Do you think they're trying to trick the bear again? Yeah, me too. And how do you think that this is going to end up? Well, this could go lots of different ways. "Really?" said Bear. "Yes, always," said Betsy and Bill, winking at each other. Betsy and Bill prepared a yummy supper of 178 pieces of candy, 7 helpings of ice cream, 36 cookies, and a big jar of chocolate spread. Then they all felt very sick. "We shouldn't have eaten all that food," moaned Betsy and Bill. "That bear can't babysit." "Oh dear," said Bear. "Perhaps some fresh air would make you feel better." Casper and Clive ran straight for the hose. "Is that allowed?" asked Bear. "Oh yes," said Casper, nudging Clive. "Mom and Dad always let us water the garden." "Really?" said Bear. "Yes, always," said Casper and Clive, winking at each other. Casper and Clive squirted the hose at Betsy and Bill. Betsy and Bill threw a bucket of water at Anna and Adelaide, and Anna and Adelaide poured the water can over Casper and Clive. Everyone was wet, cold, and miserable. "We shouldn't have played with that hose," cried Casper and Clive. That bear can't babysit. That bear is hopeless. That bear is... What do you think's going to happen next? Let's find out. Bear, what are you doing? Oh, said Bear, I'm building a ship. I'm going on an adventure. Wait, said the bunnies. Can we come too? They helped Bear build a ship with room for everyone, even Dodie. Then they set sail and forgot to feel cold or miserable. They'd been exploring for nearly 27 whole minutes when Bear let down the anchor and jumped ashore. Bear, said Betsy and Bill, where are you going? All adventurers need something to eat, said Bear. Wait, called the bunnies. Can we come too? They dug up crunchy carrots, sweet beets, and spicy radishes. The bunnies ate until their tummies were full, and no one felt sick at all. But then it was dark. I can hear something in the trees, said Anna. What if it's the bunny beast? Said Adelaide. We're scared, cried the bunnies, and they pulled their ears down over their eyes. But then Bear said, maybe I should read a story now. Once upon a time, there was a family of sleepy little bunnies. One by one, the bunnies gathered around Bear, and one by one, they fell fast asleep. By the time Mr. and Mrs. Burrow came home, all the bunnies were tucked in bed. Well, Bear, said Mrs. Burrow, how were the bunnies? Bear smiled. They were a delight, he said. Really? Asked Mrs. Burrow. The bunnies peeked out from under their covers. Yes, said Bear, smiling. Mr. and Mrs. Burrow smiled as Bear shuffled home. Well, said Mrs. Burrow, that bear can babysit. Yes, said Mr. Burrow, 6 little bunnies, safe and sound. Mrs. Burrow gulped. Wait a minute, she said. Did you say 6? 7 little bunnies, safe and sound.